Okay, so we've got our air dry clay in front of us. And we've got a tool of some sort. So I use the back of a paintbrush because it makes my life a lot easier. And we're going to make little sculptures. So if you've ever seen people make balloon animals, there's this artist that makes these amazing balloon animal artworks, big sculptures. We're going to make a mini version, little animal. So it's a little dog. Oh, he's falling over. So we're going to make a little mini dog balloon animal. So what you're going to need to do today is just in front of you. I have just a picture so that I know what I'm making. You're going to need some of your clay. So I would say we grab a little section of it. You're going to make the body first. So grab about your tip of your thumb's worth of clay, and you're going to roll it into a little ball. Once you roll it into a little ball, just sit it down for a moment. So we've got our little ball. It doesn't need to be too neat yet because we haven't started designing it yet. We're just getting the sizing right. If you just want to start with that little ball, then you're going to make the legs. With the legs, they need to be smaller than the big ball. So we're going to make 4 same size legs. So they're only going to be about, I'll show you compared to my big ball, what size you're going to have the legs. You're going to make them about this big compared to that one. See the sizing difference? One's big and one's a little bit smaller. So we've got a big ball and we're going to make 4 little ones. Make sure your little ones are the same size. So when you're rolling it, use the palm of your hand and the tips of 2 fingers to roll in the center to make it nice and round. And then we'll make a nice little round ball. Put it next to your other one, make sure they're the same size. If your clay is super sticky like my clay, be careful that they don't touch because they might get stuck together. Hello, Marissa Lovely. What is your question? You gotta press mute.
I don't have any clay.
I would assume, I don't know. Lovely, it's a clay lesson today. Do you have any Play-Doh? So should make sure, oh, see, look, this one is too big. That one's massive and this one's little. I need to fix this one. So you can't, if it's too big, what you do is you just take a little bit off and mix it back together. Marissa, if you have Play-Doh, use some Play-Doh. Or if you've got blue tack, what if you have blue tack? That'll work. All right, so keep them away from each other. We don't want them to stick together. So you should have 4 about the same size and 1 bigger one. How are we going with these ones? Oh no, oops, squished him. Squished him. Yes, everyone's working hard making their little clay. All right. So you should have 4 approximately the same size and 1 slightly bigger one. How are we going with our situation? Oh, everyone's working hard. They're looking so good. Someone's got the sneezes. Awesome, yes. All right. Has anyone made all of those yet? Those little sections? We need a little longer. 1 person's ready. All right, we might wait a little bit. Oh, we've got 2 ready. Keep rolling, 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 rolling. What do we do? Always makes me think of Nina. Yay, you got some, Marissa. Good job. So you're going to roll 1 ball for the body, slightly bigger. So you put it in the palm, use your 2 fingers. Whoa, don't drop it. And you roll it just to the left to nice and ball shape. And then you're going to make 4 about the same size. Ellie, you distracted by how much fun this is? It is fun, isn't it? Because it's so tactile. It's very different to drawing. You get to feel it and pull it and squish it. It's quite fun. Right, once you have your big center ball for your tummy, we're going to make the balloon tummy shape. So to make it into kind of like a sausage, you're going to just lightly with one finger, squeeze in the center a little bit as you push. So you should squeeze a little bit and it should make it into a sausage shape. So you're trying to get this sort of shape. Quite round on the edge still, but squeezed in the center. To make it quite sausage. Then what you can do to the edges is you just pinch the edges a little bit to soften out that edge. So it's not so cylindrical, so it's not so square on the edge. It's kind of pinching the edges so that it's like a little sausage. My nails are way too big for you to be able to see what I'm doing. I'm really sorry. So you squeeze the little edges, making a sausage-like shape. Very good. Yes, Marissa, good job. That looks awesome. Got your little sausage body. Yes, good job. Once you've got your sausage body, we're going to put it to the side. We're going to work on the legs. Yes, very good, Robert. That looks awesome. All right, next step. Grab one little itty bitty ball for your leg, and you're going to do the same thing. Squishing in the center, in the palm of your hand, like so. Making a little sausage again. Got to look like this little sausage. Put that one down. Make another little sausage out of the other ones. Now remember, if you push too hard on this, so if you push too hard on your clay, made a mess. If you push too hard on your clay, you'll end up going squish. We don't want a flat, squishy thing. We want nice and round. So make sure when you're pushing, you're nice and light to start off with, and you slowly put a little bit more pressure and a little bit more pressure. So you should have two little legs. Keep going, making more legs. Squishy, squishy. Nice and lightly. What you can do as well, when you're putting them next to your other legs, make sure they're approximately the same size. So if you end up with one leg that's really big, probably a good idea. Well, mine are going to stick together now. To make it a bit smaller. So sorry about the hiccup. So squishing, squishing until it's about the same size. I have one leg that is huge, so I think I might have to make that a little bit skinnier. Oh. Well, that leg's a bit short. We'll have to make him a little longer. So you can put them next to each other and see if they're about the same size. So I've got mine. They're approximately the same size. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's all right if they're not 100%, but as close as you can get them is pretty good. Now, when you look at a balloon animal, the legs aren't on their own like two little legs, are they? They're kind of curved in together like this. So our legs at the moment are a little bit straight. What we need to do is grab the back of a pencil or a paintbrush, sorry, the tip of the pencil or a back of a paintbrush, and you're lightly going to just curve into the center and make it a bit squishy so that it curves a little bit. So you make the tops a bit pointy into the center and you squish it into kind of like a little bean, like so. Making it a squishy little bean. So it's got a little squish in the center. You're grabbing this and you're just lightly rolling it into the center of it, making it a little bit squishy. Whoa, be careful, hold on to it nice and tight so it doesn't drop. Making that little squishy bean shape. So it should look like a little bean. You can put it on the table and then use the center of your tool to shape it out a little bit, or you can hold it up. Either way works quite well. Now you want to do that process to every little one. So we squish the edges in a little bit, do little pinchies on the side, Little pinches on the side. Was there a method? No. Little pinches. And then using that paintbrush, just the tip of it or the side of it, is you're just pushing into the center. Pushing it in. Little pushes. So it kind of looks like a little kidney bean. Put it down next to itself. So soon you'll have 4 little bean shapes. So squishing the edge, just little pinches to make it a little bit pointier, because we want the balloons to have a bit of a pointy edge. And then we get to the center and we're just pushing it in a little bit, making it a bit curvy. Making that little curve. Oh no, be careful with where you're putting all of your pressure with your fingers, because you might accidentally squeeze it back the other way. Little squishes. Little bean. Does anyone call cat's feet little toe beans? Good job, Marissa. Kind of making little beans. Little squishies. Just warning, there's going to be a lot of little squishies in this art activity. Getting the center. Little squishies. So you should have about 4, not about, you should definitely have 4 little squishy beans. Awesome, they're looking so good. Yes, good job, Haku. You just lightly get those edges. Now, if you've accidentally knocked them and they've got some rough edges, you can use that back of that paintbrush or pencil to smooth out anywhere you've accidentally knocked. If you're amazing and haven't knocked it and put any bumps in it, you are doing very good, much better than Miss Lauren, as Miss Lauren has knocked it a bunch with her silly big nails. How are we going with our beans? Oh, that's a good idea, Addie. Using it as an actual tool to roll it on too. Good job. Awesome. Good job, James. You got a thumbs up. I'm liking it. Okay, once you have your little 4 beans, what you're going to do is you're going to have 1 bean facing in towards you and 1 bean facing out away from you. And you're going to let those little toes touch and the little tops touch. So then you have 2 little front legs. And you just need to squish them together just a little bit so that they stick. They should stick quite well. So this is 1 leg put together. Same with the other side. Get your little bean, get your other little bean. You make them touch and touch. And then you squeeze them together just a little bit at the top and just a little bit at the bottom so they stick together quite well. So you should have a little hole where you can see through the center of them. Just like so. Yay! Oh no, look, did anyone see that my little doggy's head fell off? No, he's going to need surgery. I'll just quickly fix his little head so that we know what we're making. So once you have those things all squished together, what you're going to do is we're going to add little back legs. So if you have a look at this, we're not putting the legs in the center. We're not putting them in the middle. We're going to lean them a little bit out and put them just on the edge there, right at the bottom, like so. Just a little bit of a squish so that they go on. Same with the other side, leaning forward, right at the front. Whoa. Just a little bit of a squish so they go on. Ah, she fell off. You want to sit it on the table and a little bit of a squish so they go on. If at any point your clay has dried up a little bit and it's not sticking to itself, you can just add a little extra and it will stick a bit better. So we've got the bottom halves were done with the front 2 legs and the back 2 legs. We've got the bottom half of his body. Yay, good job, Marissa. That looks so cool. Ah, awesome, Addie. That looks so good. Got the front legs on and the back legs on. Then we're going to grab some more of our clay. And you're going to make, now this one needs to be a bit small because it's the tail. So you're going to make a ball, a little size, about a tiny little, well, not tiny, but a small little ball. You're going to circle it into a ball, roll it into a little ball. Now the tail is not as long sausage. It's kind of like a short little square with rounded edges. So for your tail, what you're going to do is you're going to squeeze the top down, but you're going to squeeze the side across. So you're squeezing down, center as you go around your little circle. So it should end up being a little flat sort of cylinder with a little flat top. So you roll out the sides. You can use 2 fingers if you like to roll out the sides, and 2 fingers at the top to flatten the top. So it's like a mini, whoa, she rolled away. A little mini can. Yeah, exactly. Good job, Marissa. Like this. Kind of looks like a circle, but up close it's got a little bit of a flat head. That little circle bit is going to go on the tail. So the tail is this bit right at the top there, just up there. So you've got this part of the body, you've got the little tail, and then we're going to make a little stick coming out of it, like the bottom of the balloon. Awesome, good job. Yes, Addie. Sorry, the hiccups. Oh, there's another one coming. Oh. Once you've got your little tail, you need that little spiky bit that comes out the back. So when the balloon has that little leftover bit, that's what we're making now. So it needs to be a very small ball, maybe not even half of the size. It needs to be tiny. Ah, good job, Alice. That's looking so good. A very tiny little ball. Look how tiny that is. Yes, Marissa, good size. Tiny, tiny. And then you're squeezing it together to make it into a little long snake. Don't forget to soften out those edges. So we don't want the end of the little skinny snake to be really pointy. We want it still to be a little bit round. So you can either tap it on the table to make it a little rounder, or you can squeeze it in between your fingertips very lightly. So if you have this little tail bit, it's only tiny. We find the center of this little tail, and we're going to place it in the center like so. And push it on. You should have the back of your tail kind of looking like a little balloon. Hold up against this, it might be easier to see. Got the little back of your tail like a little balloon. So we've got the front legs, we've got the back legs, we've got the little tail for the legs, sorry, for the back end, and then we're going to move on to the front end. Yes, very good. It's so cute. Yes. Oh, James, good job. That looks awesome. Yay! These are looking awesome. Yes, good job, Robert. Oh, he's so cute. All right, we are moving on to the neck and the head. Now the neck is a little bit bigger, but it's more about the same size as this tail bit. So you want to put the ball up against it, measure it to see if it's about the same size. If it's a bit big, make it a little bit smaller. So you want to put it next to it. Be like, that's about the same size. Awesome. So you've got one ball for the neck. You need a smaller one for the head. And two the same size for the ears. So the head and the ears should be the same size. So you've got one slightly bigger ball and three smaller balls about the same size. Don't let them touch too much because they will get stuck together. Oh, that's massive. Don't do that. So one slightly bigger, three the same size. Make sure you make them into nice little circles in the palm of your hand until they are quite smooth little circles. And again, little circles. So we've got our three circles. First thing we're going to do is make the neck. So you want to make it by squeezing again to make that sort of neck shape. I'm having second thoughts that my neck might be too small. Yep, my neck is definitely too small. This is the good thing. If you notice that it's too small or too big, you can always add more or take some away. There's not much issue with changing it up. So you've got your neck. Roll it out so it's like a little sausage. Softening those edges again. Once you're happy with the shape of your neck, you can put it not down here, but up here at the tip of where that neck would sit. You're going to sit it just there. Really push it into place so that it doesn't come off. It's coming together. Look at it. Then we grab these little balls and we roll them out into little long skinny sausages. All the same skinny sausage length. And the last skinny sausage. And we've got a runaway sausage. They all should be approximately the same length. Once you make them about the same length, I'm just going to see how you're going. Oh, very good. We're working hard. We need to do the same thing that we did for the feet. See how it's got that little shape? The little beans for the ears. So we're going to grab one skinny sausage and push into the center of it. It's a little bit harder because the beans are a little bit smaller. But if you're very delicate, you can make the shape. I find it a little bit easier if I put it on the table and I roll into it. Making that little bean shape. It's a very tiny little bean. Itty bitty, you can kind of see the curve. It's quite small. Oh, he's fallen over. And he already got stuck. Making those little beans. Only do the beans to two of these because they're doing the ears. The last one's nice and straight because that is the nose. So we're only beaning two of them. Just two little beans. Ah, it keeps falling over. Two little beans. Nice and squishy. Once you have your two little beans, you're going to put them together. So bottom to bottom, top to top. Squeeze them together just a little bit to make sure they're stuck. Not enough to cover that hole, but enough so that you can see that they are stuck together. And those are your little ears. When we attach these together, what you need to do, much like with the balloon animal, everything kind of connects. So you want to put the head to the edge of the ears, give it a little bit of a squish so that it's attached like this. And then you get the head and stick it onto the top so that it's attached like that. This is the bit where you're going to just make sure that everything's stuck together, squishing it together, nice and soft, not too hard because you don't want it to break. And you're squishing it nice together. In this part, you should have the little guy. You can grab the back of your tool, your paintbrush, your pencil, and really make those details stand out. So you can poke the back into the ears to make them have that little hole in the center, squish them out. Check the back that you haven't accidentally knocked out a little bit, so you can just push that down, lightly rolling it. So we're lightly just rolling those little things so they don't fall over. Double checking your legs as well. If they need some extra little squish, just go in lightly and make it a little bit more of a squish. And on the other side too. Just to squish it out just a little bit. Got your little balloon dog. If you used air dry clay, you might need to leave it to dry. It will harden up. If you used clay that goes in the oven, you'll need to get a responsible parent to read the packet and put it in the oven and heat it. If you've got Play-Doh, you can squish it back together and go again. But what we're going to do now, can we hold up our little dogs that we've made if you've finished? Ah, that looks so good. What happened to your dog, Marissa? You were doing so well before. Ellie, that looks awesome. Robert, hold it up for me.
Mine melted.
No, you played with it. Haku, how did yours go?
It's
All right, so we've done our little dog. What we're going to do now is make the rabbit version. So grab some more. The rabbit version looks like this guy. So it's going to stand up on some feet, have a big body, a head, and some ears. So our rabbit version, we're going to start off. I'm going to change colors because I want to do a pink rabbit. Same technique. Oh, this pink is a lot harder. Oh gosh. Give me 1 second. Sometimes this clay has a mind of its own. You're going to start off with a head shape. Oh my gosh, this is very hard. What is happening? So you want a head a little bit bigger. Not too big, because whatever size the head is, the whole body has to hold itself up. So you're going to make a ball for the head shape. Nice and round. We're going to move on to our bunny rabbit head shape. Why is this one so hard? The horns. And then you're going to make, after you've made the head nice and round, we're going to get a body shape. Now the body shape has to be almost double the size of the head, but not quite, so just a little bit bigger. You're going to grab an amount of clay that is a little bit bigger than the head shape. We want to do our head is this big, your body needs to be a little bit bigger. See how it's a bit bigger? It's not the same size, but it's just a bit bigger. You've got a head and you've got a body. Then we're going to make our feet. With the feet size, sorry, they probably need to be about the same size as the head because they need to hold that head up. So put your clay in a little ball, put it next to the head size ball. Mine's too big. So you're making 3 balls the same size, 1 ball a little bigger. See how I make it? I roll it up. I put it next to the head. And then I think, oh, no, that's a little bit big. So I take a little bit. See how I pinch it? And I just take a little bit off. And then I go again. Rolling it up. So you've got that. I'm going to make 3 the same size and 1 a little bit bigger. It's a lot of rolling in this activity, isn't there? A little bit big. Marissa, are you trying to steal your sister's flower on her head? So there we are, 3 about the same size and 1 a little bit bigger. Awesome, good job. Now the shapes of the bunny rabbit are a little bit different. They're not sausage-like, rather they're a bit more pointed, if that makes sense. So the rabbit tummy, rather than us making a sausage, we're going to squeeze it a little bit and then point the end out. More like a pointy sausage, only on one side. So the top half is a little bit flat and the bottom half is a little bit pointy. What you can do, if you want to do, it should kind of look like a little carrot, maybe. Not as carroty, not as pointy as a carrot, but a little like a carrot. So you've got a flat top and a little bit of a pointy bottom. Then we put that down and come back to that in a second. You've got a flat top, a little bit of a pointy bottom. What you can do for the flat top, just a little tap on the table so that it makes it flat. Then you're going to make the legs. Now the legs is the same thing, but the other way around. So you're going to make a little pointy top into a point, kind of like a teardrop. So you squeeze and turn, squeeze and turn, squeeze and turn, till you get that pointy top, and you tap the bottom, tap, 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 tap. Little teardrops. Little teardrops. Tap, 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 tap. So you need 2 little teardrops and 1 big carrot. Squeeze. So squeeze, rotate, squeeze, rotate. Pinching the top as you go. Pinching, pinching, pinching. And then you're tapping the bottom, tap, tap, tap. Don't tap too hard. If you tap too hard, you might end up going squish. We just want little taps. Oh my gosh, they're bumping everywhere. They're just bouncing all over the place. Little squeezes. Little taps. Tap, tap, tap. So you should have two little teardrop shapes, an upside down teardrop or a carrot, a bit bigger, and a round ball for the head. How are we going with those? We need a little bit of time. Am I going a bit fast? It's quite fun to play with this. It's hard not to play with the leftover clay, isn't it? It's very fun. Awesome, you're going so good. All right, so what we need to do now, with your carrot shape, make sure it's pointing down. With your teardrop shape, you're going to put it on the side, squish it on. So it's got one little leg. Then the other one, we're going to find the same spot, squish it on, second leg, squish it together, push it down a little bit so that it's standing. This will change the shape just a little bit, but you want it to stand. So it'll end up looking something like that. If it changes the shape too much and you don't like it, you can always come back, squeeze it a little bit more, make it a bit longer, and then stand it back up again. So that's our feet. Then we've got our head. It's going to stick right on the top there. It will need to squeeze down just a little bit so that it sticks on. Now it's okay if you accidentally make the top of your head a little bit flat. We need to attach ears, so that will end up with something that it can attach to, making a little flat shape. So we've got the bottom half of our body put together and the head attached. This one's pretty good because all we need now are ears and some little arms. Yes, good job. That looks awesome, Addie. Yes, good job, Haku. That looks so good. Your little rabbit. Marissa, what a lovely ball of blue tackle clay that you have. All right, we're going to move on to the ears. Now the ears are quite long, so we do need a little bit bigger sized balls, but not as big as the head. So you're going to do a little bit of a ball, put it next to the head. If it's a little bit smaller, see how mine's only a tiny teensy weeny bit smaller? That's the size we're going for. So we need two that size. So two balls of clay, a teensy weeny bit smaller than the head. Well, that was too much. Rolling it into a little ball. Therapy. Oh, that's some cool stuff. Oh, that's like hand therapies to strengthen your hand. All right, so once we have our balls for our ears, this one's a bit more tricky because with the ear shape, if you can see on my drawing, it's not that round, it's a little bit pointier. So what we're going to do is we're going to make it into a, going to make it into a sausage. Then you're going to flatten it out a little bit. So you're going to squeeze it and flatten it. Like so. So it ends up a little bit flat. And you're going to pinch in the corner, squeeze and flatten. It needs to have that ear shape to it. You push the bottom, squeeze it out, make it into that flat sort of ear shape. So it ends up going kind of like that. So you're flattening it with your hands, squeezing the top in a little bit, kind of like we were doing with the bean, but not as curved. And I accidentally knocked that section there, but that's okay. If you want to, what you can do is use your little back of your paintbrush or your pencil and roll it out a little bit. Make it have that really flat area. And use that as well to make the shape. So you can roll up to make that shape a little bit more dramatic. Like so. Now we all know that symmetry is fun, but our bunny rabbit is going to have two slightly different ears because one side is going to be bent one way and the other side is going to be a bit more straight. So with the other ear, same thing, I want you to roll it into a skinny sausage. Once you've got it into a skinny sausage, we're going to put it on the table, get that paintbrush or that pencil, roll it out a little bit, or that pen, make it a little bit flat, not too flat, just a little bit. Squeeze it between your fingers. So it should be about this flat and about this long. If you don't have a rolly thing, you can just squeeze it in between your fingers like so. So you're just squeezing just lightly. Once it has this sort of rounded rectangle shape, you're going to come to the top and you're going to pinch it into a point like an ear, like a triangle. Flatten it out again, pinch it into that point, pinch and flatten. So you should end up with a little bit of a pointy end. Just by pinching together, so you go pinch, 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 and squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Should end up with your ear. Once you have two ears, now they don't need to look the same because they're going to go on the top of your bunny rabbit. What I want you to do though, to make sure that they attach to the head, is we're going to tap the base of the ears on the table. Just tap, tap, tap to make that base nice and flat. Tap, tap, tap. Should end up with a little flat bottom to that ear. Same with the other side, tap, tap, tap. The tapping noise that you're hearing is my nails, not the actual clay. I'm really sorry. Tap the clay nice and lightly. Should have two little flat edges on our clay. Come back to our little bunny. Add one ear on one side, squish it in. Make sure you get it nice and stuck together. Like so. And add one ear on the other side. Now you can choose to have your ears touching or you can choose to have them not touching. That's up to you. I'm going to have mine touching. My clay has dried out a little bit. Squish it on. Nice and sticky. Stand up, little bunny rabbit. Then the very last step, we're going to do two little hands. So all you need is two smaller pieces of clay in little ball shapes. Because this bunny rabbit has little arms. And you're going to just do a little pinched teardrop, just a tiny one. Like so, little pinched teardrop. And one more. Oh, that looks so good, James. Pinch teardrop. And you want to stick it just at the front, but over to the side. So you've got your little arms. One there. And one there. Depending on what type of clay you have, you could always decorate your clay later. You could paint it a little bit. You could add little eyes, smiley face, and so on. So we've got our little bunny rabbit, our Jeff Koons bunny rabbit, and our Jeff Koons sausage dog. Aren't they cute? It's like a little party. Good job. Yes, working hard. I'm sorry, Marissa. Next time, grab some clay. You could add little eyes if you wanted to. You could make little itty bitty balls for your eyes, and you could stick little eyes on and have them have a little character or a face. If you want to decorate it, you could get some textures and you could color in little sections and have little areas painted, or you could use paint. Oh, actually, the wrong thing here. How did everyone go with that bunny? Can we hold it up? Oh, that looks so good, Haki. Yes, that looks awesome. How did our bunnies go? Alice, your bunny's blending into the grass. Ah, it looks so cool. I love it. It's awesome. Oh, Ellie, that looks great. These bunnies are awesome. They're looking so good. All right, I have one more question because we know that next week doesn't have, oh, Addie, you gave it eyes. That looks so good. So next week does not have an allocated art medium or art project. What we need to do as a group is you guys need to come up with some options, and then we choose today what the art project will be next week for our final class. So what you first need to do is in the group chat, can you please write either painting, drawing, or clay? So painting, drawing, or clay, one of those three. You pick, and that'll be an activity that we do, and then we can vote on maybe the activity. So in the little chat up the top, painting, drawing, or clay. James, that looks awesome. All right, we got 1 for painting. 2 for painting. 3 for painting. It looks like painting's going to win. I see someone still typing. I'll wait a little bit. 4 for painting. All right, I feel like painting is the chosen medium that we're going to do. That's awesome. Oh, 1 for drawing. All right. All right, I think the painting wins in that one. Democracy has got it. But what kind of painting? That is the next question. Now, what kind of painting do we want to do? Do we want to do an animal painting? Do we want to do, what else is there? We could do an animal painting. We could do an abstract sort of painting. Do you want to do a plant painting maybe? We could do nature, like a flower or something. Vote what you would like to paint and we'll come up. One said dragon, one said flower. An animal. Okay, so there's 2 for animals. Dragon, flower, landscape, natural. Butterflies. Oh, Lord. All right, so we've got animal, natural, butterflies, animals. All right, I think animal might be the winner. We could mix it together too. We could have an animal with a landscape around it and some flowers on the side. All right, we're going to pick an animal. All right, so what kind of animal might we do? We could do, dragon is a bit hard to fit in an hour. I'm sorry, lovely. We might not be able to do that. But if we do, maybe an animal. A deer? Maybe an animal in the wildlife. Maybe we could do something like, what about a chameleon? Like a lizard with all those colors. Yeah, thumbs up if we're thinking chameleon is okay. Thumbs up, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, 5. All right, awesome. We will do a chameleon with some nature around it. Yeah, I like the chameleon. That looks awesome. Right, so for next week, we're going to do a painting activity, which means you are going to need some paintbrushes. You are going to need some colored paint. You are going to need some paper to paint on. And think about chameleon colors. So chameleons are all these crazy colors in green. You're going to need those colors. And we'll do some flowers and nature and leaves in the background too. So you need maybe some browns and some greens. If you can see Marissa's camera at the moment, we'll be using acrylic paint. These are the colors that we're going for. Thank you, Marissa, for helping me. All right, lovelies. So I'm going to plan that out for us so we're ready to go next week. I'll make sure to get an email sent out just to remind everyone as well. What I'm going to say is, with your little artworks that we've made today, don't forget to take a picture and send them in to Brilliant Kids. Next week, we'll make it a bit more standing and walking. All right, lovelies, I'm going to sign off and we'll say good night and goodbye. Thank you for coming and joining. It was always fun, as it is. Enjoy your night. Bye-bye, lovelies. See you next week. We're going to do paint. See ya.
Bye.
Bye. Enjoy. Have a good night. Stay
Bye.